425-6, a resolution authorizing the county mayor to enter into and execute a lease agreement between Hamilton County and the Forgotten Child Fund for office and storage space located at the Harrison Recreation Center at 5637 Highway 58, Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Do we have any lights?
Commissioner Highlander?
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. This is a wonderful organization. They have helped, they sort of were an orphan for a while, and they found a good space at the old Harrison Elementary. They have set it up. They are so organized. And we had a ribbon cutting a while back, and it was attended by probably a couple hundred people. I don't remember if you were there or not, Commissioner Helton, but it was a great job. And I strongly urge that partnership between the county and this great organization. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Highlander. And thank you, Kelly, and your folks for everything you do. We really appreciate it. Y'all are a great organization. All right.
Can I say something, one thing about it? Real
Absolutely.
quick? Just make sure, this is one thing I'll do is you guys, Kelly, y'all been in that since last fall. Make sure this is on our side. We just need to make sure that through the mayor's office, if you guys are going to sign buildings or something, make sure we get it in resolution. That protects them in the future. So I would just challenge you, work on the timeliness of it, because our whole goal is to protect them. So new administration comes in and they've got paperwork to say they're supposed to be there, and it's by resolution. So.
All right. Well,
Thank you.
I guess that's what we're
Doing now.
Yeah, the lease. Madam Clerk, 425-7, please.
Resolution 425-7, a resolution authorizing the county mayor to enter into and execute a lease agreement between Hamilton County and the University of Tennessee for office and community function space located at the J. Merle Crawley Building, 6183 Adamson Circle, Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Mr. Lehman?
Thank you, Commissioner. And I think to the chairman's point, we're making sure that we have everything in order with a lot of our tenants relative to lease agreements. So this lease agreement has been reviewed by the attorney's office. It's a lease with UTC for 5 years at the Crawley Building there at Bonnie Oaks. They do 4-H youth, master gardeners. They do some other types of outreach from that facility. And so this does put them under a 5-year lease. There is no payment. I think it's $10 a year, which is used to be $1 a year. Now they're $10 a year. So it is a no rent lease for UTC to continue to run that those agencies out of that facility.
Thank you. Mike Kirk he's done a really good job of going through and finding all these loose ends. He's really following up on them, and I think our committee has asked the mayor's office and every org to make a resolution whenever we do a major org move or leases, and y'all are doing a great job about following through, so we appreciate it. Do we have any lights?
Yeah, Commissioner Highlander.
Thank you. I hate to talk too much, but I don't want to get any awards today. But Todd, thank you for making it realize that inflation gets everything going from $1 to $10. I guess that's inflation. But the Department of Agriculture worked with UT and Tennessee State University, and they do a wonderful job for this community. And I just appreciate your office, sir, and the mayor's office, and everyone that commits this space to the Department of Agriculture. Commissioner Shipley and Commissioner Sharp and I serve on the Ag Committee, and we see the wonderful work that they're doing with hundreds and hundreds and even thousands of our citizens. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chairman.
All right, that wraps us up for today.
I want to appreciate you, Commissioner Helton, and your team and what you all do in this committee. I think y'all work really hard for it. Meet monthly, so thank you for your commitment. Okay. We'll move to
Finance.
Yep.
All right.
Finance.
Thanks, sir. Madam Clerk, please read 425-9, please.
Resolution 425-9, a resolution of the Hamilton County, Tennessee Commission adopting certain fees within the Division of Public Works, including fees under development services in the Highway Department.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Janeway.
Good morning, Commissioners. Nathan Janeway, 1250 Market Street, Director of Development Services. I think I socialized with most of you earlier in the year. We were talking about trying to come up with some sort of fee structure for basically paying for the cost for inspecting new development. We probably could have come earlier, but just through some conversations with the home builders, we wanted to be sensitive to the fact that this directly affects them. So through kind of a long discussion, some of the asks were that we simplify the fee structure. That way it was very clear and precise. We did that with establishing a 19 cents per square foot assessment on new buildings. We also agreed with them that we would work with them on a couple of subdivision regulations that are big costs for them that don't necessarily negatively affect us. One is road widths on streets shorter than 1,000 feet long. Right now, we require 26-foot wide of pavement, and we're in agreements with them that we would like to go to 22 feet on those shorter roads. That does a couple things. Number one, it cuts costs for development. And on the other side, it also helps us with long-term maintenance because we have less road to pave, while not causing a huge hindrance on fire personnel. Another item is, right now we require 8 inches of base rock on every county road and 2 inches of asphalt. We've agreed with them that we would like to offer the option for them to have an engineer look at that and see if that's actually required to meet compaction ratings and load ratings. And then the third item that they've asked us to help them look at is the ability to put gravity sewers outside of the roadway. We feel like that's a good thing for the county. The developers feel like it'd be a good thing for them. So we're in agreements with them that we'll work with them to talk to WWTA to allow that to occur. We believe that this will raise around $500,000 a year in revenue, which will help cover the costs of inspections. Right now, almost all inspections other than septic are completely covered by property tax revenue. I'd be happy to answer any questions as well.
Did have a couple pop up. Commissioner Graham.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Nathan, on the width of the road.
Yes, sir.
Maybe this is a question for Administrator and County Engineer Todd Lehman. I'm okay with the narrowing of the road if it's not being a penny. I don't want to be a penny wise and a dollar foolish.
Sure.
I mean, long term, I want to be sure that we didn't need that road that wide, like we were talking about earlier, 25 years from now. So I want to make sure that is that an issue down the road?
I'll chime in, Commissioner. We've had these discussions internally. The intent is short cul-de-sac, 1,000 feet or less cul-de-sacs in subdivisions. It does meet the fire code at 22 feet. Obviously, if there's roads that are going to be extended in the future and are going to be through roads, they'll meet the 26 feet. But this is just to give cul-de-sacs less than 1,000 feet the ability to go to 22 feet. We don't see any long-term issues relative to that.
I'll add too that we're not changing right-of-way dedication. So we would have the ability to expand that road if we needed to at some point if that did become necessary.
It's just cheaper to do it when you're building the road than it is down the road.
Correct.
The other thing is that sewer outside the roadway, the gravity sewer, I think that's an excellent idea. Because you have it outside the roadway and we can still service that sewer by being on the road and not reaching, into a ditch or across too far. But it also protects that road from later, any kind of constructions or any kind of cut-ins or anything like that. I think that's an excellent idea. So thank you for bringing that forward. Then I will be supporting this next week.
Good, sir. Commissioner Highlander.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Graham hit my first point very thoroughly and well. Thank you, sir. I'd like to ask, and thank you for working together, gentlemen. I appreciate that very much. I have a question for Mr. Lehman, if I may.
Please.
Todd, on the rock and gravel, do you see any problem with making adjustments in that 8 inches and 2 inches minimum that we now have?
No, sir. What we'll require, obviously, from the developer is a engineered design section of a road. And so there are opportunities probably with different types of subgrade, whether you amend the base, whether you do an 8 and 2. An 8 and 2 is kind of a general. We used to have a 6 and 2. Now we have an 8 and 2. There are opportunities depending on the sites where that can be engineered through a design engineer, professional engineer, and we're willing to accept that as a option in our road construction.
Thank you. And Mr. Lehman, I cannot tell you how much we appreciate your professional expertise that you share with us weekly. Thank you so much. And thank you, Mr. Bell and Nathan, for working together on this. I appreciate your unity on it.
All right, I see no further lights. Mr. Bell, you've been here the last hour and a half. Would you like to comment on this?
Thank you. Julian Bell, 3221 Harrison Pike. I'm here for the home builders. Just wanted to say that, first of all, we appreciate the administration, particularly Nathan, spending the time with us to go over this issue. Fees are obviously something we don't take lightly. We do have the obligation, and we recognize the obligation to pay for the services that we use. We are also sensitive to home prices. This gets directly reflected in home prices. I think that we've come up with some good options where we can potentially offset these increases and so that there won't be any noticeable impact on home prices. And we appreciate the efforts to work with us on these ways to mitigate the impact of the fees.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Chief, do you have a comment?
Dwayne Pitts, 9769 Sanborn Drive. On diminishing road width, a 22-foot wide road, when you have cars parked on both sides, and they don't park against the curb, it really diminishes the room for fire service to operate when there is a fire. Good thing is we don't have fires every day on every street, but when it does happen, we have to have room to work. And on a ladder truck, if that's needed, we can't just put a ladder truck wherever we want. The turntable needs to be within certain proximity of what's on fire. And you have to put out outriggers. The truck's 8 feet wide, and outriggers extend 2 to 4 feet, depending upon the truck, out from that. And with cars in the way, it can be problematic. So just keep that in mind when you're considering diminishing road widths. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. Seeing no further lights, Madam Clerk, let's move on. 425-10, please.
Resolution 425-10, a resolution to waive the procurement rules and authorize the county mayor to transfer one surplus vehicle to fire rehab services in Marion County, Tennessee.
No lights. 425-11, please.
Resolution 425-11, a resolution to amend the fiscal year 2025 general fund revenue and expenditures budgets for the Office of Emergency Management by $6,400 to accept funding from the State Fire Commission per Tennessee Code 4-24-202.
No lights. Chief, anything to add? All right, Madam Clerk, moving on. 425-12, please.
Resolution 425-12, a resolution authorizing the county mayor to execute the governmental grant contract and to accept reimbursement of $121,198.49 from the Tennessee Emergency Management Agency for debris removal costs resulting from severe weather, May 8th through 9th, 2024.
Pretty straightforward. Chief, anything to add? All right, no lights. That's the last finance item, sir. Moving back to you.
Okay, we got roads and zoning.
Yeah, one item, Chairman. Madam Clerk, 425-8, please.
Resolution 425-8, a resolution for the acceptance of a proposal by the Tennessee Department of Transportation to construct a project described as Bridge over CSX Railroad, LM 0.86 in Chattanooga on Route SR 320.
Mr. Lehman?
Yes, Commissioner. So a standard agreement document with TDOT, it's one of their checkoffs related to projects that they do within the county. This one happens to be, and I'm asking for some confirmation. I believe this is the one near CSLA, but they do require as part of any of these projects that the county agree to, and there's a myriad of things. A lot of times when you see them doing like a state route and they do an approach on the county, say they do an approach on the local road, the county agrees to accept that and maintain it. I believe this one, This one, there may be some detours with that bridge. Also, the CSLA site is there close. I do not believe we joint owner it, but I believe that's why we came up in this agreement. So the agreement is standard for all state jobs. And really what it alludes to is that the county is going to work with them if need be on this project to improve this bridge. Hopefully that answered, but it's a standard TDOT agreement for a state project on a state route within Hamilton County.
Thank you, Todd. No lights. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
That's all I got, Chairman.
That ends the committee meetings. So legal meeting in the conference room.